Kemper Profiler, Tones and Talks, episode 25. Let me throw those rigs at you. Those rigs you can transfer from your big profilers to the profiler player, and how to do that has been a question which was coming up a lot, and we thought we would address this. And who better to have with us, of course, again, than Mr. Thomas Dill. Hi.
Hi, Tom.
Because you just, redid basically the entire Legends tribute collection, and also extracted, I think it's 92 profiles from the Legends collection for the profiler player. So you know how to take, sometimes very opulent rigs from the big guys to the profiler player. And we would like to show you today, or Thomas is going to show you today, how that works.
Yes. It's, you have not everything on the player as on the big profiler, so there are less effects. We have only 4 effect slots and not 8 effect slots, so it was kind of a compromise to do this. To some rigs, some rigs didn't make it to the player, so we have 92, and but the most of them could be recreated, reworked for the player. And if you've some people have the stage or head, and they want to take their sounds for the small guy and want to go for rehearsals or maybe for on the road. And there are some things that you need to know. So don't talk too much. I'll show you the rig manager. So for this project, and my advice to do that when you have rigs on your profiler head stage and you want to transfer it to the profiler player, just copy those rigs and move it or copy it to the local library. So I have here my profiler player with 50 rigs and my profiler head, and the profiler head is ready for preview. So if you do a control click on one of those, you can use the profiler player for a preview. But in that case, I'm starting first with a big guy. So taking the sounds, and in that case, it was the whole Kemper Legends Tribute collection. I took that from the rig packs, took all, copy. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, creating, here is a Legends Tribute collection player. The folders, I will say a few words about them. But first of all, create a new folder on that one. Add folder, so it's a right click on this folder. I'm adding a folder with all rigs. So this is the thing that in that folder you should copy your all of the rigs that you want to transfer to the profiler player. So that was 120. Now mark them all, copy, and then go to the folder and Command V, and you have them copied, all rigs 120. Then we had 4 categories, A, B, C, and D. So category A was the rig, or the rigs work on both directly. So no need for changing effects, no need for changing some modules or something like that. So as you can see, no rig did it. Section B, we only have to move some effects. So that means if you have to move just one effect into the slot delay or reverb. So for the, very important, for the profiler player, only the slots A and B and delay and reverb are working. So everything you have here is lost for that sound. So that needs to be done. And C was changing effects and effect settings. There we have 92. It's 184. You will see now soon why there are 184. And then D is not for players. So those effects are not working, or those rigs are not working on the player. So for example, the Trevor Rabin rig for Owner of a Lonely Heart has 8 effect slots and chromatic pitch, which isn't available, dual delay, morphing. So this came into the D folder. And first of all, before I was starting, I needed to know which effects are working on the player. So I made a list, and here's the list. This is it. So here we are. We have in the, if you need that list, just press stop here in the video, make a screenshot. So then you have the list. And yeah, we have in the wah section only the wah-wah, distortion, 4 distortions, green screen plus distortion, 1 distortion, and the muffin. The pure booster, graphic EQ, acoustic simulator, and double tracker, the compressor, 2 noise gates, vintage chorus, air chorus, vibrato, rotary speaker, tremolo, and then only the phaser, the flanger, analog octaver, and in the delay section, single delay, 2-tap delay, legacy delay, spring reverb, easy reverb, echo reverb, legacy reverb. So these are the effects. And going back to the rig manager, I made from every, here in this C section, every rig 1 copy. So this is the original, Ace Frehley, and here is the copy. So as you can see, the original has the natural reverb, studio EQ. This was the one because many couldn't be changed or work directly, because I used the studio EQ to boost some frequencies. And this was because at that time when I made all these Legends Tribute Collection rigs, there was no liquid profiling and there was no tone stack or amp model available. So I didn't use that much the EQ of the amp and used the studio EQ just to fix some frequencies. As you can see here, mid 2 frequency is boosted at 1.1 and all that stuff to get this close to the recording sound. And yeah, for the player, I did it different. And as you can see here, the graphic EQ shows up instead of the studio EQ, easy reverb, noise gate, and the pure booster. So these 2 are left free, and they need to be free. So let's go to Mr. Grohl. And here's the original one. So from Avalon. So that's sound. And yeah, I will show you how I work that out. So first of all, just leave that copy sound alone. I do duplicate that one. It's copy 2. And it's on and can be heard. So first thing is the noise gate. So in the profiler player with 4 slots, 1 slot noise gate no chance. So we need effects.
That's
So
not,
I turned,
that's not
yes?
so economical. Yeah,
No,
right.
no. We need to do some some clearly decisions. So noise gate empty. Now it's a bit noisy, but we have the input noise gate. On the profiler player, we can use you can use that input noise gate also on the big profile. I'm using that very much, but when they deliver from the factory settings, I think the input section is locked. So and the noise gate is at 0. So you can do in that. That's the reason why all the Kemper factory rigs don't have a noise gate on at that time. So they always use a noise gate at slot 1. That's what Burkhard told me. But with the player, it's fine. So there is no locked input section. And as you can see, you only need about 2 to get the sound silent. Okay, so first thing checked. Next thing, slot 1 and 2, the pure booster, no problem. The pure booster is in the content of the profiler player. Next thing on the other side is the natural reverb. And this is a really fine thing. If you have the natural reverb, you can easy change it to the easy reverb. If you do like to do that, take reverb, easy reverb, and then, very important, load type. So the settings from natural reverb are taken over to the easy reverb. And here it is. So if you, I will replace that rig. Just check it out. Original, natural reverb, 1.7 and mix level at 25.3. And my copied reverb, mix level 25.3, 1.7. So it's really same reverb algorithm, just a little bit less parameters to adjust. And the high cut is at the same place too. So yeah, it's quite easy. And the next thing is a bit, yeah, not really heavy, the studio EQ. I'm working with not now to take this the same stuff with the graphic EQ and take load type. I copy that studio EQ and then I do this load type thing. Graphic EQ, this is the one that is in the content of the profiler player, load type, just to compare these sounds. So as you can see, the studio EQ has a high cut at 9.5, low cut at 87. Then a very small, lower the frequency of the mid 1 range, so at 120, 52 minus 0.1, so this is not much. 0.3 mid 2 gain at 1.3K and high gain a little bit raised. So this is not that much. So the main things is high cut and low cut. And as you can see in the graphic EQ, high cut is set at the same level and low cut too. So 9.5, 87, and here 9.5, 87. So the other things, this little boost at 1.3K, I can do that with the graphic EQ at the frequency 1.2. So I will do some, yeah, 0.4 or a little bit more. I think I did it at 0.6. Shift key. And here we are. So just showing you, this is the new one. And then the Studio EQ. So it's a bit different, tiny bit different. It's with the Studio EQ, it's tighter in the lower frequency range. And to get in that range, I'm using for the Profiler Player Legends rigs, the amp model and the tone stack. So, and this is the great Friedman of Bert Moellendijk rig pack, which I love. And I'm raising a little bit the presence to 6 and cut down the middles at 4.4. So just to get that little bit, tighter tone. Now with the EQ. So this is it. Now turning the Studio EQ off and definitely replace the rig. So now we have the first two modules fine and easy reverb, graphic EQ at delay module and reverb module. The amp is set with the tone stack, a little bit presence raised, and this is really nice now with these tone stacks. So I really don't work that much with the Studio EQ. It was before the era of liquid profiling and the tone stacks that can be added. And now I'm really working with those tone stacks. It's very much easier and very much, organic, like you work on those normal amps. So this is fine from the sound. Now we need to check, the last thing is the switching options. And then we can go to the Profiler Player to check everything. Because on the Profiler Player, there is switch 2, which is from the factory settings used for switching effect button 1 on and off. So in that case, the pure booster should be switched on and off because I have it just prepared and it should be switched on with a foot switch. And you can see that in the Profiler, in the rig menu, it's here page 6, remote effect buttons. And if not, you can assign one function to these buttons. And here in that rig, it's prepared stomp A on and off with foot switch 1, FS1. In an upcoming update of the rig manager, and I really hope that it doesn't take too long, you can do that in the rig manager, and then it's really easy. So pray for it that it doesn't take too long. So now we are done with all the stuff, with all the settings, and now I'm switching with a control click, right click to the Profiler Player. Now I have the Profiler Player on and searching for the Dave Grohl rig, copy 2. Here we are. And as you can see, so we have the easy reverb, graphic EQ, amp, and I will switch to the player. So now you hear the player, and there are no effect switches, not effect switches, the FX1, FX2 are not assigned. So you can do that too on the profiler player now. FX1 set for the pure booster. FX2 is for the graphic EQ. So these two knobs and the two buttons on the player, FX1, FX2 can be so now switched on and off with the buttons, pure booster here, and also can be adjusted on the player. Here I'm turning the FX1 knob. And also, if I'm switch 2, can also turn on and off the pure booster. So you see in the system menu here, foot switch 1 is previous rig, foot switch 3 is next rig, and effects button 1 is foot switch 2. These are the factory settings. So now everything is done. Replace rig, and this rig is replaced and it's in the local library again at that place here in the C folder. Now what you need to do is to transfer it into the profiler player. Just Command and C or copy the rig, go to the profiler player, and let's say 1.1, Command V, and then it asks you if you want to override this rig. Yes, I want to do that. And now it's in the profiler player.
Yoo-hoo.
And this is everything.
Cool.
It's a bit of work. If you don't have the same or the effects used in the big profiler, if you have much effects used, and yes, there were 28 rigs that couldn't be made in the player because of the fuzz is a main part of the sound, so the player don't have fuzz, but at least 92 have done.
Yeah, and also it's just a question of what kind of concept you are following with your stuff, because I immediately was my main rig, I use for everything. That's not possible anymore because there's I can maybe show that one. I mean, you know this by now, but anyways, here my go-to rig, that's it's full.
Yeah.
The stuff I use, and I also rely heavily on the morphing stuff. I'm morphing the EQ, of course, with the liquid profile with the tone stack. I also morph the boost a lot, and some other effects as well. So how do I do that? Well, I just thought, okay, basically I'm doing various versions of that same situation with the morphing stuff. And so if morphing just went out of the window, I went for this. That's my player bank. And I just made 3 versions of my rig. And you see here various, let me double click this so you see, I've only these 2 effects on and only these 2. And I don't morph, I just switch between these 3 versions of my rigs. And that works by, I just have assigned the, let's go back because of the noise. I just have assigned my player to, the switches of the player to 1, 2, 3, Covenant 1, Covenant 2, Covenant... Yeah. So it's the dry version of my rig. It's the standard version of that rig, and then it's all the morphing to the max basically. So all the settings to the max for ultra gain lead stuff. And so I have 1, 2, 3, and basically I can play everything with these 3 and have direct access by assigning the buttons in that way. You have kept the previous next rig and the effects one
Yes, yes.
setting. So yeah, that's up to you. And so with this, it works for me pretty well. And also, if you have your phone and you have the matrix there, it's quickly that you can get to the next bank, for example, if it's another song, and then you can have 1, 2, 3
Yes.
different versions of your tone, or even something completely different. And this, taken into consideration, makes it pretty easy to work with that as well. And you have just this small thing in your gig bag, and then you're a happy camper as well. But yeah, you need to find a concept for your tones, and then edit them, bring them over, create a new local library folder, and then you can feed your player from there.
But definitely, it's the workflow should be just starting with the big one, because if you start with the profiler player, I can show that. Now I have the player on. So let's say you go to to the original rigs, and yeah, here's a single delay spring reverb. It's okay. Two. I don't find that. Andy Summers. So Andy Summers has no chorus. If you just turn on that one, no chorus, no flanger, and no delay in everything. And if you using the big one and then go to Andy Summers, you get this one, hyper chorus, flanger, and everything. So definitely start at the big guy and then place it to the right modules, A, B, delay, reverb. Use the regular effects for the player, or switch these on and change with load type. It's very good to do that. Or copy the effect and then make these A-B comparison. And definitely start with one and then copy that and then compare. This is something what I did a lot of times when I'm doing these Legends Tribute Collection rigs. I compared every time the original one and then the new one, and then did some fine tweakings in the amp menu or wherever to get close to that sound. And yeah, it worked then.
Yeah, true. And it's then a piece of cake once you got your routine and the process in place. Indeed. And yeah, then it's also, when you have... that's the thing. So if somebody has a player and that's the only device they have, and if they download, for example, my rig from the Rig Exchange, then they are effed, right?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're just...
There are very interesting when you're going. Wait a minute.
But you can rebuild that then.
You can rebuild that, of course. But for the Legends Tribute Collection, so player owners, Kemper Legends Tribute Collection, we have rig packs here. And use for preview, the small guy. So now you see 92 rigs. There are the rigs that are working with the player prepared. So these from my 92 player final versions. So the rig manager is very clever and knows, okay, here's a player, and I'll show him the player rigs. And if you're using the big guys, you get the 120s big rigs. So in the rig manager, it's set, and they are working with others, other rig packs too, that the official rig packs are changed to the player situation. But it
Okay.
takes some time.
So, okay, then you won't be confused. But still,
Yes.
if you create a folder for the stuff you download from the rig manager or you get from some
Yeah.
profile packs, you need to have a look at them first and try to find some information, and then you have to rebuild these slots with the essential stuff yourself, and then transfer to the player. But the great thing is the main aspect of this. I mean, it's the M tones, anyways. And the liquid profiling translates just one to one. There's no difference, and just with the boosters and the levels and a little bit of the modulation effects, most probably you have to be a little bit creative to come up with the stuff you need. But it's easily doable, and we all are just in the beginning of this journey of the profiler, and where it goes, we'll see. There's a lot more to come, I guess, and so the essential stuff is there, and I hear from a lot of people that they're having a great time with the player, and the fact that it's so easy to transport and to bring in, and on the other hand, for all the guys who are considering if it's worth to get one or not, back and forth, I see a lot of pedal boards these days on social media, and this is pretty interesting because of course, it's impossible to get in touch with everybody, but I was wondering very often, if you would have gotten a stage, you would have even less footprint than you have with the boards and all your dedicated pedals, because some of the stuff even can be recreated with a stage as well. But that would be a completely different conversation. The core transfer of the stuff works pretty well, and we would like to hear from you what your experiences are, and if there are any more questions with the player in conjunction with the bigger guys and stuff. And also in last episode we discussed remote controlling the profiler with your DAW with MIDI commands. And of course, this works with the player as well. So just via the USB cable, you can connect your DAW. It's an audio interface, and it's also, for those who don't know, a MIDI device. And you can send switching commands to the profiler player as well. And maybe we look at this one in the next version of the podcast, if you're interested in this, because basically you can copy this information to the player as well. All right, so if you don't have anything to add, I think
just some all those player guys who only use the player, the commercial rig guys like Michael Britt, Bert Mölledijk, me too, they offer special player editions, player packs. So I think Bert has a lot of now for the player ready-made, and Michael Britt too. So just check out before you buy one rig pack if they have some player editions just for use ready-made. But also many creators of rig packs only do the profiles, not that much with effects, so then it's totally equal.
Right. Absolutely. That's true. So check this out. Try this at home. Let us know what you want to know, where the questions are, and visit the LMT tray. Let me throw that rig at you section on the rig exchange if you want to get the stuff. We came up with so far during the last episodes, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Thomas. Bye-bye.
Yep, bye.